everyone, I hope you are doing well wherever you are watching us from. Welcome to this English edition. Let's first start with the headlines. Burundi head of state Evariste Ndayishimiye attended the prayers organized by the CNDD-FDD party each last Thursday of each month. In his speech, he has called on all CNDD-FDD party members to just copy the example of the foreign, as corruption and economic embarrassment are still reality despite the progress already made. And Burundians must learn to immortalize objects and tools used before and after colonization, so to defend the country. An observation made by Burundi Vice President Prosper Bazombanza after paying a visit to the Military Historical Museum of Angola. Welcome back. Details now. Burundi head of state Evariste Ndayishimiye has attended the prayers organized by the CNDD-FDD party on each last day of each month. In his speech, he has called on all CNDD-FDD party members to just copy the example of the foreign, as corruption and economic embarrassment are still a reality despite the progress already made. And the Burundians must learn to immortalize objects and tools used before and after colonization, so to defend the country. An observation made by the Vice President of Burundi, Prosper Bazombanza, after paying a visit to the Military Historical Museum of Angola. Munida Jean Joseph has more.
On the sideline of the summit of EU and AU, representing the head of state Evariste Ndayishimiye, the Vice President of the Republic Prosper Bazombanza, conducted a visit at the Military Museum of Angola. At that museum, they managed to immortalize the culture, the military aspects of Angola before colonization and the period of fight for independence, and that one of after independence. In that museum, all cultural items, military weapons and other materials of different periods were stored, as well as the ancient, present and high military officials. Pictures for the Vice President Prosper Bazombanza. That museum will help young generations to know the history of the countries and have the spirit of patriotism. The Burundian Vice President informed that Burundians can learn from Angola and then store the historical items. Prosper Bazombanza, Vice President of the Republic, concluded his visit by signing in the guest book.
The Thursday activities of the 4th edition of the Day on Access to Renewable Energy took place. Various speakers have highlighted that the advantages of the World Bank's Compact Energy Project, a program to which Burundi has joined recently, and thanks to that project, around 9 million Burundians will have access to electricity by 2030. Details with Gordie Gatogato.
This meeting was organized with the aim of enabling the various sectors within the ministries to reflect on their objectives in relation to the missions assigned to them in order to improve institutional performance. During the session, participants were also informed about the organizational structure of the Prime Minister's office established in accordance with the decree that created it. This institution is responsible for monitoring all activities carried out within the different ministries. In his opening speech, Prime Minister Nestor Ntahontuye stated that at the level of each commune and each zone, there must henceforth be a representative for every sector of the state, given that development always begins at local level. He emphasized that this new structure is not optional but a national directive that everyone must comply with. He further explained that the recent reorganization of the ministries based on their missions and programs aimed to improve the management of public sectors and increase productivity. This will enable officials to more rigorously monitor the implementation of planned actions. The Prime Minister stressed the need for program managers and those responsible for implementing actions to work in synergy to ensure the effective execution of the programs included in the National Development Plan as well as the National Vision. In this regard, he instructed sectoral leaders and monitoring officers to produce monthly reports and ensure that the information they contain faithfully reflects the achievements observed in the field. They were also required to systematically refer to the dashboard outlining the planned actions and required resources and to prepare reports detailing completed activities. For activities that were not carried out, those responsible must clearly explain the reasons for the non-completion despite initial planning. The meeting brought together officials from the Prime Minister's office, members of the government, provincial governors, permanent secretaries of various ministries, inspector generals, as well as other administrative officials.
Elected MPs from Mukaza Commune with Mukaza Commune Administrator met this Wednesday with Chief of Service and the sectors. They say that they will raise problems that they believe cannot be resolved within the commune. Jean-Joseph has more.
The participants of the meeting were from different departments and the leaders of the areas who raised the problems facing the Mukaza Commune. They include, among others, in the education department, lack of teachers and schools without desks, and some schools are in despair. In the health department, people in Moira zone requested the construction of a hospital because they are now forced to travel to Bujumbura city for treatment. In the Boyenzi area, they requested the opening of the clinic that was built to begin receiving citizens. In the economic sector, they requested the construction of markets in Nyakabiga and the Moira zones. They also presented the complaints of traders because the law on how taxes are collected has changed, and it has been requested that modern technology be used in carrying out this task so that taxpayers can see how they are paying their taxes. Participants reported as well that there are places where roads and bridges are damaged and many others. The issue of the lack of municipal office was also raised, where the administrator of this commune, Aline Vigilimana, announced that they are building their own communal offices to replace the offices that the province had lent them. On all these issues, Aline Vigilimana said that the commune is aware of them and is doing everything they can with those responsible to find a solution. Nahimana Veneranda, a member of parliament elected in Mukaza Commune, said that they will continue to pursue these issues and that those require assistance beyond the commune and bring them to the parliament for resolution. Citizens in the Mukaza Commune are generally urged to avoid illegal drinks because these are also among the factors that hinder development.
This Thursday, 25 partner universities of the Europe-Africa project organized a meeting at the International University of Bujumbura in order to jointly examine the challenges and the solutions linked to the obstacles that could hinder the effective implementation and achievement of the objectives of this Europe-Africa project. Irakoze has more.
The implementation of the Africa-Europe project, supported by the European Union, brought together several groups from different countries, comprising 25 partner universities, 5 from Europe and 20 from Africa. The program includes about 33 experts. Participants exchanged ideas on possible solutions to key global challenges, including climate change, economic issues, and security concerns. Professor Jean-Marc Etrouille highlighted that there is a genuine exchange of experiences through teaching and that students are benefiting from this integration.
So you are linguistically in a very strong position if you can be operational in your future career in both English and French. then you also have a comparative advantage as a student if you get this understanding of the region in which you work, in which you operate. And this region is, of course, the East African region. So students really get good opportunities there for their future career to be able to operate and understand, have this intellectual understanding of not only the situation in Burundi, but the more global East African situation. That's a very strong advantage for them.
He also emphasized the importance of global integration.
So the purpose of this, each time we have a different topic. So for example, we did a conference in China too, in Shanghai. This was a year and a half ago. And the theme was Africa, China, Europe. Is there a possibility to work together? After all, the Chinese offer and the European offer might complement each other, in which case it makes sense to have a trilateral approach to African development, because African development is not only an African matter, although it will have to be in the end resolved primarily by Africans. Opportunities there for Africans to be seized if African countries can speak to the world with one voice. This is a very strong point, I think, that needs to be made in any of our conferences.
Dr. Jean-Baptiste Bukuru, a consultant at BIU University in Bujumbura, also affirmed that the program presents a significant opportunity for both the country and its students. It is worth noting that the program is currently being implemented through BIU University in Bujumbura, and the ongoing meeting is the 7th of its kind. Launched in 2024, the program is expected to conclude in 2027. However, the activities and knowledge sharing among experts will continue beyond that period.
Well, this is the end of this English news edition. Thank you for your attention. Have a good time.